Howdy everybody, Steve here, KM9G. Today we're gonna play radio. This is the Retevis RT97 GMRS repeater. You can get this in a couple of different flavors. This one is GMRS. Let's get right into it. We talk about GMRS on this channel, but not often enough. Let's get into fixing that with a GMRS repeater from our friends over at Retevis. See what we can find out inside this wonderful box. And once we get this thing done, this will go on the air in Polk County, Wisconsin. And we will be able to provide GMRS services for anybody in the Polk County, Wisconsin area. Owner's manual. It is multiple languages. Wow, there's not a whole lot of English in there. That is the English section. And then that is the rest of the sections. It comes with a microphone because a repeater is actually a radio. And the microphone has a 9-pin connector on it. Spot on the top if you wanted to plug in headphones. And this great big thing has that little teeny tiny hole in it for your speaking pleasure. Feels pretty good. I guess mostly that is a human interface concern. Got to be able to hold the thing in order to use it. Oh, hey, before I forget, this actually is a speaker mic, which is why it is so big. I just did not see. And I still don't see. Oh, there they are. It's really hard to tell, but right on the bottom side of these little ribs here is where the speaker noise comes out, but it's almost impossible to see. So it works, it does the thing. Why would you want a speaker mic on your repeater? In case you're in your repeater office and you need to verify that your repeater works by making a call out to somebody else, or if this is the only radio that you brought with you because you're the one setting it up, you can now prove that it works by talking to somebody on the far side of the repeater. So, definite kudos for including the microphone in the repeater setup. 12-volt 5-amp. Let's take a look inside and see what this looks like. We got to open it anyway. Might as well share the experience. Regular PC-style power plug goes into that, and then a 4-pin power connector for the radio. And look, it actually is 12 volts, 5 amps. There's the power cord. 3 pins on one side and 2 pins on the other side. So, anything else we can pull out? Oh, this looks like a programming cable. 4 pins on one side and USB with a USB serial chip inside, I'm sure. Geez, there's so many little things in this box. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. This is a car auxiliary power port plug, 12 volts or 24 volts, and then it will go into the back. So you could actually make this a portable repeater. That's fantastic. Anything else? Nope. Excellent. I am super impressed with this. This is actually, from a physical standpoint, we haven't turned it on or anything, but I'm already feeling pretty good about it. As you can hear, it is a metal case. It is pretty heavy. Just for grins, I can't imagine this actually matters at all because this is a portable radio and you would carry it in your car, not a backpack radio. 5 pounds, 4 ounces. Very solid construction, lots of heat sinking fins on the top and on the bottom. A nice leather handle. It actually appears to be real leather. Interesting. And not a lot going on the front panel, but there probably doesn't need to be. You have this is either power or data. SO239 antenna port on one side and a serial port on the other. And that is all you get. For those of you playing along at home, the FCC ID is 2ASNSRT97P. RT97 being the product name, P being portable, I guess. Shows the frequencies that this thing is already programmed in for. Power connected, microphone connected, and we plugged it in and it comes right on. And according to the box, it's already programmed and ready to go. So you have your 2 frequencies, your receive of 467.550 and your transmit of 462.550. And it's got tones set up with CT and N for narrow and H for high power. We have a dummy load, so we're not broadcasting signals everywhere they don't belong. And we have a power meter. I'm going to get this set up and we're going to do some power testing. This is currently set to high power. I'm going to key the mic. We see an SWR of 1.02 to 1, and we see power output of 6.20 on the peak. This is supposed to be 10 watts. Not really sure why it's not showing 10 watts, but there you go. This is pretty neat. Bunch of sockets, bunch of screwdriver bits. It's a pretty cool little toolkit. I like it. Pop goes the flip out. And you have all of that stuff. So you know what I'm going to do when I have tools and a new piece of electronics? I'm going to tear it apart. Let's get into it. Oh, those are captive screws. I love it. All right, let's open this thing up. Since there is a display on the front, it's got to be attached somehow. And there you go. There is a little wire cable running to it. Not bad. All right, inside, actually a whole lot of very interesting stuff. This is a duplexer. This is what I was hoping to see in here. And because this is 462 to 467 megahertz, it actually doesn't need to be all that big. Your antenna comes in here and goes into the center of the duplexer. And then from the duplexer, it does a whole bunch of magic to keep those two sides of your transmission separated, your transmission and your receive. And that's all of this magic. And these things are usually tunable at the top, and then you can see all of the wonderful connections down the bottom. So there's your antenna input, and then here's your high and your low port. Both of those go out to your radio, so TX and RX from the radio, and then they're combined inside of this little radio here. And this is probably a little circuit board just like you would happen to see inside of a handy-talkie, because that's really all this is a little 10-watt handy-talkie in a nice fancy box with a duplexer. All of that runs out here, which is a little control board, and you have your display controller that goes up to the top, and a bit of magic that goes out to your power port, or in from your power port, depending on whether you are programming this or you are using this as a full-fledged repeater. This is actually really nice inside, and I'm really happy to see all of this. This is really sweet. I like it. All right, folks, time to test this repeater out. So first I have to prove that there are no smoke and mirrors here. These are two GMRS radios. This is the Radioddity GM30, and this is the BTEC GMRS Pro. These are both really good radios. This one happens to have a ton more features. I've got a video about this one linked up there. There are links in the description down below for the screwdriver set, the repeater, and the two different GMRS radios that I have shown in the video. Be sure you are subscribed for more crazy GMRS content. What we have to do is we have to program the input and the output frequencies on these. And you have to program the offsets, and you have to program the tones. That is an exercise for another video. It has been done on these too. If I turn this one on, welcome. And if I turn this one on, you can see on this one, because it shows the display 462-5500, and it's got a tone of 135.5, I think it is. It's in the manual. It's the tone it ships with. What happens is these need to be set opposite of the way the repeater itself is set. So you transmit on the receive frequency of the repeater, and you receive from the transmit frequency of the repeater. You know, you have a mouth and an ear. You can't hear with your mouth, and you can't talk with your ears. Same thing with radios. You have to have them set up backwards so that they kind of crosstalk. So what'll happen is I've got this one and I've got this one, and if I key up, this one stays dead and deaf because there's no repeater in the middle. And if I key this one up, this one stays dead and deaf because there's no repeater in the middle. That's how this whole magic works. Now I need to go turn the repeater on, and we can do a little bit more testing.
This is WRNY 996. Testing, testing, 123, 123. Testing, 123. This is WRNY 996. A little bit of wind noise today. WRNY 996 clear.
Now let's go take a look at the programming software. This is Windows programming software, and as usual, you double-click on the setup program and next, next, next until you are done. From there, launch it from the Start menu, go to the Set menu and choose your COM port. And then we can read the data from the radio. It was kind of weird that you picked the read option and then had to click the read button, but I clicked the read button and away it goes. You can see all the different channels that you can set and their tones and power and widths. And then under the function setup, there's a couple of extra options. Not bad. In the end, what do I think about the Retevis RT97 GMRS repeater? It works. It is very easy to use, very easy to set up. Doesn't take a whole lot of wizardry. You literally just plug it in and put an antenna on it, and it's good to go. It has a very fantastic, rugged design to it. I like it. I would not want to drop it, but I would feel like if I did, it would be okay. That's a good thing. One of the things that I kind of don't like, but I can kind of put up with, because it's not that big of a deal, is that there are ports on one side and ports on the other side. So for the most part, it's designed to work like this. Well, if it works like this, and the antenna port is on the side, you're horizontally polarized, which is not how repeaters work. They're vertically polarized. Not a big deal. I mean, you can turn it on its side. When you turn it on its side, though, the other ports on the bottom dig into whatever they dig into. It just depends on what your mission profile is. If your mission profile is to operate this out of a backpack, which you can do, then you might want to do something about putting a little elevated platform on the bottom to make room for these two connectors here. Otherwise, not that big of a deal. If you are going to mount it sideways, horizontally, as it appears to be designed to be mounted, then you might want to get a right angle adapter or run it to some coax. In a permanent one-time install in an abandoned warehouse on the dark side of town, mount this thing to the wall, run your coax out the coax port, run your power out the power port, and forget about it. It'll be fine. So it's just a very minor nit, but overall the functionality far eclipses the minor nits that I could possibly even come up with. 10 watts. You can run this at 10 watts all day long and it will be functional and useful at 10 watts in its intended designated install. Stick a nice high gain antenna up on a tower somewhere, you're fantastic. Get up on top of a hill somewhere and be the beacon for all radio traffic in your area. That will also work out just fine. What else can you do? You can get yourself an amplifier. Those things do exist. I wouldn't worry about this thing being 10 watts. I could easily get this to 50 or 100 watts with some added equipment. Price tag's around $400 at the time of this recording. I think that's actually a pretty good deal because you get the rugged metal case, and you get the power supply, and you get the programming, and you get the programming software, and you get the filter cans. I am happy to have shared this product with you, and I think it is going to be an awesome addition to Polk County, Wisconsin. It's going in the mail to get back up to the Club Shack where we are going to get it on the air. For more information on that BTEC GMRS Pro radio, check out this review I did up here. Otherwise, thanks for being awesome. I'll see you over there.